There's a lot of space to accommodate a lot of people. Yeah, so we're going to use it. President Trump planning to expand Guantanamo Bay to hold up to 30,000 illegal immigrants. This as the first flight of detained migrants landed there yesterday. A senior defense official tells Fox the military jet had 10 migrants on board, and IC agents are assigned to guard them at the detention facility. Senate Republican Conference Chair Tom Cotton with reaction coming up. Meantime, Texas is reporting that daily encounters at the border are dropping sharply. Brooke Taylor has the new numbers from Dallas. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Dana. Yeah, these are the lowest numbers we have seen in years. And when you compare this to what we saw during Biden's final week in office, well, it's even more striking. So on Monday, Texas DPS releasing these new numbers. They had 446 encounters across the southern border, just 98 in El Paso, 58 in the Del Rio sector. During Biden's final week, the daily encounters range from 1,200 to 1,400. Well, this decline comes as the first group of Mexican National Guard troops arrived at the border. Here, Mexico's president has pledged to send a total of 10,000 troops, all in exchange for delaying terrorist removal flights. They are also ramping up. Border Patrol says they took the first military plane filled with illegal migrants to India. This marks the longest deportation flight, yet using these military C-17s. We're doing very well with respect to other countries really behaving on taking the criminals that they send into our country, and we're getting them out. These are some of the worst people on earth. As security measures strengthen, well, cartel operations, they are definitely feeling the heat. Just this week, DPS and Border Patrol agents arrested this smuggler, who they say has cartel connections. He was trying to transport 50 pounds of narcotics across the Rio Grande. And now, when asked about whether Border Patrol agents and other soldiers could be hurt by cartel members because of this added security, Borders our Tom Homan says they have the capability to wipe the tail off the face of the earth. As to anyone who thinks of doing that, he says, I would not try that. Dana. All right, Brooke Taylor. Thank you so much. So we have seen a lot of combined agency efforts in some of these confrontations, and we are watching this play out right now. This is DA helping DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, serving search warrants at multiple locations in Denver Company. Also, we saw some video from the early hours when it was still dark out of similar operations going on in Denver, similar to what we've seen across the country. We'll keep a close eye on it, and we will continue to report on these developments. But a lot of action with these agencies across the country, and this focused in Denver today. The first flights from the United States to Guantanamo Bay with illegal migrants are underway. President Trump is not messing around. The Trump administration is starting the process of expanding the migrant detention center at Guantanamo Bay. Let's bring in Senator Tom Cotton, Republican of Arkansas and chair of the Intel Committee. This is President Trump on Guantanamo and why he's using it. Watch on Guantanamo Bay. Is there enough space there to accommodate? There's a lot of space to accommodate a lot of people. Yeah, so we're going to use it. Can you talk a little bit about why? We have it. It's already up. We have it for nothing. But we can do less expensive and even more secure. We've had other countries come to us saying we would love to do that. We would love to take your criminals and we'll maintain that. We'll be their jail. And I'm only talking for the most severe cases. Your take on what's going on down there at Gitmo? Well, Dana, President Trump is right. Guantanamo Bay is a good place to put these illegal migrants. It's much safer than an American base. It's a large base. I've been there. It has a very modest American presence there. Unlike bases here in America where we have large families and training grounds and so forth, there's a detention center in Guantanamo Bay going back to at least the 1990s under Bill Clinton, with migrants there pending repatriation to their own countries. You don't have to worry about losing control of them or even escaping the base, as happened in Arkansas in 1980 at Fort Chaffee when Governor Clinton or Bill Clinton was the governor, and we put the Mariel Bowl of people there. So I think it's a very smart idea to put some of these migrants who are pending repatriation to their home countries in Guantanamo Bay. It's kind of like what our Secretary Rubio discussed with President Bukele of El Salvador over the weekend. He's very pro-American. He's been supportive of the United States. He's willing to take foreign nationals as well, pending repatriation. I think that's something we should consider as well, just an example of the kind of creative, unconventional thinking that the president has brought back to Washington to serve American interests, to get dangerous and violent migrants off of our streets and back to their home countries. We just saw some of that possibly happening in Denver. Also wanted to ask you about Army recruiting. This has been an issue that's been a real concern for America. The Post from the U.S. Army said that they've had their most productive December in 15 years. By enlisting 346 soldiers daily into the world's greatest army, our recruiters have one of the toughest jobs, inspiring the next generation to serve. Congratulations, and keep up the great work. What do you put that down to? Well, Dana, I don't think it's rocket science. It's the Trump effect. You had some number of young men and women who didn't want to join the Army over the last 4 years under Joe Biden and Christine Wormuth, the former Secretary of the Army, when they thought it was more focused on wokeness and DEI and climate change. That's not why young men and women join our military. They do it because they love the country. They want to serve in uniform. They want to serve a cause greater than themselves next to battle buddies who are going to be friends for a lifetime. That's clearly what's on the mind of these new recruits who are joining since President Trump won re-election. And I believe that it's going to continue to improve in the future. No, that's not the only reason. You know, there are still issues with getting kids medical waivers if they need it for a long-ago injury or just processing them through the initial entry system more quickly. And the Army can do a better job of that. And I've discussed that with Pete Hegseth and Dan Driscoll, the incoming Secretary of the Army. But I think these numbers put paid to the idea that it was some overall economic condition or competitive pay with the private sector. It was that a lot of young people didn't want to join the Army with Joe Biden as the commander-in-chief. Yep, Senator Tom Cotton, thank you so much. And I know that you're busy, as you said before we started it. We haven't even gotten halfway through Wednesday yet. Thank you, sir.